Hey, y'all know what that song is all about. And that's our man, Mr. Johnny Quinn, and he's out there somewhere. And let me tell you something, wherever he's at, he could either leave in a car or you can leave with a helicopter. I finally got these photos. John, I got to tell you something. All your photos are in. I put them on 6 hours ago, and they're just materializing now. Welcome to the world of technology. Where you be, Johnny?
Well, I'm right here in the great Mulligan Hill, New Jersey.
Ah, Mulligan Hill.
Downtown, beautiful Mulligan Hill, we're saying. That's South Harrison Township, and here I am with Vinny. Vinny's a good Irishman, Esposito, right?
Yes.
Vinny.
Way back.
How are you, Vinny?
What was that?
How are you, Vinny?
Oh, great.
Very good.
So
very
I'm here
good.
with Vinny in his shop, and like you kind of alluded to, there's everything from, this one here, we got
This one is a 90, we race AER, so one of our cars was involved in a rollover, so that showed up on Sunday, needing a roll cage. It's like a 90-something BMW. That's about as close as I could get. Behind that's my 68 Charger RT, my 73 Super Beetle, but all of them are in disrepair. But I got the helicopter, the Formula V. It just goes on and on. Motorcycles, three-wheelers. I might have a problem.
I just found out he's got a Willys, an all-steel Willys, too.
Whoa,
Yeah,
now we're talking.
40 Willys, all steel. It's in Illinois now at Randy Ferguson's. He's doing the body work on it. I picked it up years ago. Basically picked up a cowl and just a hood. It was like the Kohler commercial. Here, can you build it around this? So it's been out there for 10 years now. Everybody keeps hounding me to, can you get it done? Yeah, I'd love to get it done, but it takes time and money. So that's got a blown injected Hemi, mechanical fuel injected, 4-speed, straight axle, Olds rear, everything. Just done all period.
Oh, all period correct, 44. It's like the Stonewoods and Cook car.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
all period correct stuff. I can't wait to see that one. But you name it, we pretty much have it here for you, Ben. Like you said, we'll see what we're leaving in tonight. I don't know.
Whatever you're leaving, and we're going to have to push it. So pick a light one. I can push it out of here pretty fast.
But we have everything from Myers Manx Dune Buggies.
Yes, the way this whole, I'm big Volkswagen from way back, and needed a dumpster, went to a buddy's house. He calls. I go over there. He's talking about Volkswagens because I've had one since the 90s. And he goes, oh, check this out. So he had a Formula V. All paperwork back to when it was built in the 70s. So, of course, have to have it. I haven't even, it's sitting on a shelf, as you could see. So I got that. Then he goes, I got this. Original Myers Manx, body serial number 1035. All right, I got to have that. Go to get that, and the orange bug that we started racing with Lemons is sitting behind that. All right, we'll take that since we're here. So we got that. And then, it's just... It snowballs. The 68 Chargers, my first car when I was 16 and a half was a Charger. Oh, my mom, she goes, you can't buy that car. My dad goes, no, listen, he works for the money. He can buy the car. You can tell him it's not a good idea, but you can't tell him you can't have the car. So I buy the car for small block 318. I work on it, right? Doing all the little things you would do. I get it running. I get my license. My dad's at work. My mom's like, don't take it out. Wait till your dad comes home. I go, no, I'm taking it out. So I go to back it out of the driveway, and I put the long muffler clamps hanging down so it's stuck on the driveway. I get on there with a hacksaw. I'm cutting it off. She's like, no, stop. Wait, don't go. Wait for your phone. I go, I'm leaving. I got 1 block away, and the car caught fire.
Oh, no.
My mom's running down the street. I told you. I was like, all right, maybe you were right. Maybe you knew something.
Now, Vinny, I have to ask you, though. I'm looking at the various vehicles that you got, and you're ready to rock and roll, working on them and all. How'd you wind up with a helicopter?
This story. This is a good story.
The helicopter came about. My buddy's uncle was selling one. The guy I'm in the bug with, Matt Speedo, he does transmission. He was always telling me he took helicopter flight, helicopter lessons, helicopter this, helicopter that. A buddy of ours, uncle, built that in the 70s. It has 0.3 of an hour on it. That is it. It is pristine. It has never been dusted because it has never been dusty. So he dies, And the thing, it was supposed to be shipped to Africa. That's why it's taken apart. That's another whole story. It's ridiculous, but never went to Africa, actually. So we bought it, and now I have it, and I was going to either turn it into a ceiling fan, but you wouldn't believe how big planes are. They're like 24 feet. Like, you would be decapitated up on the wall. So what I was telling everybody, what I was telling John was, I said, listen, John, you're my witness. I'm in the lottery. So if I hit, you have to stick up for me and say, the lottery did not change Vinny. He had a helicopter before he got his money. He was always had a helicopter.
The thing, I'll tell you something. I'm looking at it. It's got a really retro look. That's the first thing that caught my eye, and I thought it's almost got like a T-birdish type. I guess you could call it, for lack of a better word, a hood piece.
Yeah, the streamlining. Yeah, and it's dual controls. It's set up. This thing is nice.
It'll go up to 10,000 feet if you're brave enough. See, here's what was happening. I was going to fly it, right? I was thinking, because how hard can it be to fly? I mean, what's his name? Igor Sikorsky, he invented them and flew them. So he didn't have YouTube or anything.
Right.
He just figured it out. So I figured I could do it. So I was going to fly it. And then we went heliboarding, snowboarding, and the guy there had this, big helicopter, obviously. So I was like, my buddy goes, my buddy's got one of these. What do you think? He goes, yeah, he's going to die in it. I go, why? He goes, yeah, he's got 30 horsepower. He goes, I have 2,500 horsepower. He goes, when I pull this, we go up. He goes, when you pull it on that, you don't go up. He's like, you're going to die in that thing. And then because that guy, he was flying pretty good, better than I think I could fly. I mean, so I got a little nervous. But
so that's when it turned into an ornament that we're going to hang from the ceiling.
When was the last time this thing...
to make it into one of those big-ass fans, and hang it upside down. But when I started measuring it, it would take out the door, and up there, it would be... Me and you would be fine, but anybody freakishly tall, 5'10", it would hit them in the head. But for us guys, we'd be good.
When was the last time this thing was up in the air?
70s.
In the
guy
70s.
Had it, built it, flew it, got its aviation numbers, and that was it. Never flew it again.
Now,
never flew it.
Do you have the owner's manual with this thing to show you how to fly it?
We have books. I got probably, if I stacked them, a foot thick of books. But I don't know if you know this about me, but I am not big on the directions.
Yeah, I can appreciate. I'm the same way, and I was a teacher. Believe me.
We don't need no stinking directions.
Yeah, I'm going. Whatever's going to go wrong, and to quote Captain Ron, whatever's going to happen is going to happen out there. Let's go.
But aside from the helicopter, the one that really gets me is the VW that you made for the race of lemons.
Yeah,
so you got to tell the story on that one, because you've had a bunch of different engines in there. But being a Volkswagen guy, I'm really impressed with a lot of stuff on there, but mainly that transmission and everything. But tell us how it's all started. Now, what motor did we start with? That was going to be the radio.
That was going to be, so first we started with my buddy Andrew again. He's like an enabler. So he goes, we're racing. I go, all right. He's like, I got this idea. We take an Audi A6 that was crushed, cut it apart, put a Saab Sonnet body on it. It's uglier than you can even picture in your wildest imagination. Put that all together for 6 months, go to the race, it blows up before I even get in it. I'm like, I'm done with this car. So I go, I'm going to build something simpler. So I had this Beetle around, me and Matt Steedle and my partner Steve Bowen. We go, we're going to build a car that's simple, easy, we can fix it. It's going to dominate, to quote everybody in Lemons. This thing's going to kill. So we build the car, start cutting it apart, doing this. I build the cage, the wiring, all that stuff, low buck, just like they say. And we have a rotary. We're going to put a rotary in it. It's going to be the best. Get it all together. Literally 2 weeks before the race, we turn around, and it was like a cartoon. We go, all right, so you're going to start it? And they're like, I thought you were going to start it. None of us knew how to work on a rotary. None of us even knew how to get it started. So we're done with that. We go back to Andrew. What do you got for us? He goes, I got just the thing. The hot rod ticket, a 1972 Pinto 2-liter with four side draft Makunis with an adapter plate to bolt on. So we bolt that in there, fire it up. It hadn't run since who knows when. We turn it with a wrench, get it fired up. We go racing. We thought we were going to kill. We got towed in 31 times the first race. 31 times. The front wheels broke off because the sway bar snapped. There was an earplug in the fuel line. If you can name it, it broke down. So we kept fighting with the Pinto motor. It was a two-pronged attack. It was both expensive and slow. So then a buddy of mine, Nick Jones, decides he's doing another Manx. He's got the J Series Honda motor with the adapter and all that stuff, but finds out in the mid-engine configuration it's too big. It's hitting the back of the seat. So he wants to go rotary. So we trade all our rotary stuff like we knew what we had, what we were doing. So we give it to him. He trades us the J Series stuff. It's sitting forever at my buddy's shop. Push comes to shove, a buddy of mine, Ed, he's racing. We're, bench racing, talking back and forth, turbo this, turbo that, turbo this. I go, yeah, we're putting the J Series in. Just one-upping each other. I put it in, it fit, it worked, dynoed it. It did, the first one did like 160 horse. We wanted a backup motor, so we went to JDM, and for $400 bought a motor that dynoed dead stock at 265 to the wheels. So then that was the first configuration. First race out, I put it into the wall, totaled the car. I did like 7 laps, and my buddy was out on the track too. My buddy Jay's racing, and we had a Hudson that came out of the Simeone that we raced with a flathead 6. We race all the classics here. That's all we do.
Vinny, have you ever...
He's racing, he sees me hanging the wheel in the air, and he's like, man, I wish I had radios to tell him to slow down. Next lap, I put it into the wall, totaled it, cut the front end off. So we figured what we needed was more power.
Yeah, right.
Then I got the Eaton M90 off a 3.8-liter Buick, made a manifold, bolted that on there. It did about 6 pounds of boost, and it did 353 horse to the wheels, 310 feet of torque. Jeez. So after that wasn't enough. So now I got an Eaton M122 blower off a Cobra, and I put an intercooler in it. I got a water-to-air intercooler. I use a Honda CR250 radiator.
Off a motorcycle, right?
Yes, on the roof scoop, the old Baja roof scoop, to cool it. And I used a Toyota Prius water pump to pump the water around the circuit. We just take whatever we have, or more specifically, whatever somebody's going to give me, I'll stick on the car if I think it's going to work.
Vinny, I have a question. Have you ever considered maybe like taking the motor out of the helicopter, trimming the blades down maybe to about 5-6 feet, and making it an air dune buggy Volkswagen race of type of ride? I mean, everything is there for you.
Next week. That might be next week's project.
That's what I'm afraid of.
If it would make me go faster, I would definitely try it.
Hey, why not? I mean, and if nothing else, you could take it to Florida and maybe skim over some of the swamps, I mean...
Airboat. It should skim across the water pretty good.
It's a Volkswagen.
It's still a pan car.
Right, I was going to say, Volkswagens float.
Yeah. What I can't get over is the amount of horsepower you're putting through the transmission, and then you showed me that little secret you got in there for transmission.
Well, the transmission, everybody looks at the car, and they, if you know it, then you know. If you don't, then you look at it, because it's wired up with primary wires. We ran extension cords back. I cut a 100-foot extension cord in half and ran them back. My buddy Joe and Dan helped me, so that got us the power we needed. It doesn't chafe. We were just on the budget, but when... The trick to it is the transmission. I got to give it up to Matt Steedle, like my best friend. If it wasn't for being partners with Matt Steedle in this, you literally can't build this car. There's nothing that will hold this horsepower. And even doing it with Matt at the level he does transmissions, this transmission is so highly priced. Like, people talk and everybody, I want to do this. Well, you're going to need this. No way. Okay, I've been there. We've built... I've had $2,000 ring and pinions flown in from Australia, and they've lasted 3 hours behind this car.
So what's in there now? Tell us.
Now it's a Vanagon, a water-cooled like a Vanagon thing. Those things. VW stands for very weird, because if you're rocking those things, you're a weirdo. But they make a transmission. So I just basically told Matt, I said, listen, Matt, I'm done with all this. Build your dream transmission. Put together your dream transmission on paper, and then just give me a number. And he gave me a number, and we went with it, and it's an outrageous number. And that's with him just, giving me the parts.
Right.
It's a lot of money, but
that holds that horsepower.
That transmission's holding, and that car will pull the wheels. And not with that trans. We had a 5-speed, but Randy Popes drove that twice, and down in Barber. That car, as it sits, has run over 13,500 miles with the same motor. We just changed the oil and just keep whooping on it. But it's just, I don't know, it's a freak engine, and it's been overheated we've had it running so hot that every 20 minutes it would come in. It was just shutting off. I was mad, so I would open a valve, blow water out, stick a garden hose in the radiator until cold water came out the back. You hear it banging and popping, put a radiator cap on, send it back on track. And it's still that motor. Never took the heads off, nothing. And it is fast.
So how have you done with the Le Mans races?
We've never even come in top half. But
you're having fun, right?
Yeah, we have a ball. Like the car, usually it's C-class 0 laps, right? Which is the lowest class and no laps. And I think they feel sorry for us because we've been doing it for so long. And I love the racing. I love being there, but I love wrenching on the cars. The whole thing. It's just a party scene. So the car is dominant. It beats A-class cars. Nobody can hang with it when it's running. But we break transmissions. We break this. So I really don't want to campaign it for a win. We don't hot pit. I don't stop on the pit. You know what I mean? Refuel. We bring it back. We get the driver out, put another driver in. So we've never finished top half, and that's just my quick list of excuses. I got more if you want to hear about why we haven't.
You know, I was just thinking.
There's a lot of excuses. I've been racing a while. I got a lot of them.
Hey, I'll tell you, Vinny, we got an SCCA official over here, and Billy, you have a question for Vinny for this ride of his?
Not a question, but I can understand his attitude and his passion because SCCA. In fact, I'm good friends with Jim Wakeman, and he does a lot of lemons. And, I'm listening to your stories, and you're spot on, man. That's all I got to say.
The racing is awesome. It's awesome that you can sit here in this garage, come up with the crazy idea of I'm putting an Eaton M122 and Honda Sierra, and put it all together here, and then I have a place to take it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like the car may look like it does, but the roll cage, the safety, the brakes, all that is top notch in the car.
Well, I call it serious fun. I call it serious fun. You know.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, and that car got me to. Now we race AER. And I raced that with another team, and that's where this car came. This is like our sister car. Yep. Ours is actually holding up our tradition. We painted it with house paint, so it's yellow. You know, right. Yeah.
Maybe you
got the passion.
Maybe you can get Sherwin and Williams to sponsor you. You know?
Yeah. It is the best. It's painted with a roller, and everyone's like, "What is painted with a roller for?" Because you guys don't understand. Smooth. You get that laminate air boundary. We're going for the golf ball effect. So we break up the laminate air, and
you gotta have so many dimples in it.
We slipstream. We come up on them. There's a lot of people been embarrassed by that yellow car. I'll tell you that.
You do it because you can.
I mean, I just have so much fun with these cars.
I'll tell you one thing. If you ever get that helicopter going, you got to do me a favor though. You got to have somebody video it. I want to see that baby in the air, and I want to say. And if you have a passenger, make sure they do a close-up of the passenger's face. Somehow, I have a feeling, it's going to have expressions that haven't been seen in a long time.
I got it. I should fire it up. Like that's going to go bad. I mean, it's just going to go. It's going to go terrible. And then I got a neighbor.
It's one thing when you're on the ground and you lose it, but when you're 150 feet to 200 feet or 1,000 feet up,
I'm saying 25 feet's enough to fall from up there because my neighbor comes running over and he sees it and I'm like, oh man, I was doing him a favor because I'll weld stuff for my neighbors, try and keep them on my good side. So he comes over and he's like, you got a helicopter? I go, what? He's like, where are you going to fly it? I go, right back here. He goes, you can't fly that here. I'm like, here we go. He goes, no, you got to come over to my place. My place is double wide. You can get it up. I'm like, all right, I'll bring it over. If that's you might need a rider on your insurance, but we'll fire it up.
So you got to get that baby going yet. So that engine's been sitting for a little bit.
Oh, it's all stored. This guy, the guy who built it and took this apart, it is meticulous. I don't have the skill to build the box that he built to put the props in when he took them off just to ship them. Like, it is insane the level of detail this guy built.
Something like our buddy Joe Toppy, right?
Yeah.
Joe could probably get into
Joe could get this running. Joe could get this running. But I've seen Joe race go-karts. Joe's not your best pilot. He's not the guy you want to put in the hot seat either. We all got problems with a little bit of too much stick control.
Right. So with the RT, I don't know if those pictures came through. I did take pictures of a motor for that was sitting there.
That didn't come
what's the
yet.
Motor for that?
Yeah, we're still waiting for that, Johnny.
What was you saying?
Go ahead. What were you saying, Ben?
Yeah, that did not come in yet.
Oh, okay. Hopefully next week it'll come in. The picture show will be coming in.
I got a 68 RT that I bought. Guy came to a party. I used to have this party, VinFest. It was just mayhem. And at the end of the night, you can imagine what shape I was. The guy comes up and he goes, I got a 68 Charger RT. It's green. That's my favorite car, favorite color. I'm like, yeah, okay. You're not going to get me. A year later, he comes back. He's like, dude, you never called me about that RT. I'm like, you were serious? He goes, yeah. So I bought the RT, had it sitting since the 90s. Finally decided to do it. Built a 383 for it. Didn't run it forever because it needed exhaust, so I stopped like a moron, let it sit so long, the engine seized up. So then I go, that's it, I'm building a motor for it. So I built a motor for it, and I'm ready to get it running again. I'm like, I just want to get it running. And then a buddy of mine brought up a good point. He goes, how long have you had this car? I said, I don't know, like 18, 19 years. He goes, in 19 years, you haven't built it once. What makes you think you're going to build this car twice? I go, I don't know. So that's when I decided to take the whole car apart and do it from scratch. So it's right now, everything's off. It's down to the unibody. I repaired rust along the back window, so I'm going to save the roof and as much as I can of the car. But it's scheduled to go down to AMD in Georgia to get everything done to it. When it comes back, it will be a 4-speed car instead of the automatic because I always wanted a 4-speed. But our buddy Joe Toppy is helping me out. He's body working the doors and the deck lid and all to a level that's unreal. I mean, it's unreal. Like I don't.
It's way more than the Volkswagen.
I can't.
Joe's the other end of the spectrum when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, his stuff is. He's like, and he's telling me, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. I go, Joe. And my deal with Joe goes, if I help you with this, you have to let me paint it because I'll just run it with whatever's on it. I don't care what it looks like. But I got coilover front suspension from Magnum Force. I got a power rack opinion. I got a 4-link that Joe Toppy made for me. Mm-hmm. I got the 4-speed that's at Matt's Needles. I went to DNF and I had them build me a 440. It's actually a 68 block, but it's not the right one for this. The kid windowed the block on this years ago.
Right.
But it's got Edelbrock heads. Nothing crazy. I just told him 450 to 500 horse at the crank. So it'll be streetable.
Nice streetable driver car.
Yeah, I got the Holly Sniper ignition system and the Holly Sniper fuel injection system on it. So I just want to be able to turn the key and go with it. You know what I mean? I just want something nice to drive. But
well, I'll tell you, Vinny, you've got some very interesting rides over there. And I have to tell you something. You have some very interesting stories with these rides. That helicopter, that's going to be the one, though. If worst comes to worst, too, you could put it in the Mopar and send photographs to Mark Warman out there with the Mopar connection. And he'd love seeing a helicopter engine in a car like that. But seriously, you got some cool rides over there, and you are definitely taking the hobby in the best possible attitude. And I hope it's contagious for many, many people because you really do put a smile on our face with your way of describing your passion over here. And I thank you.
The juice of the life.
Hey, you're living the life. And if John Quinn, by the way, says, "Where's the food?" tell him there's a McDonald's about 5 miles down the road.
We'll push one of the cars with them in it.
Yeah, better yet, take them. No, I got a better idea, Vinny. Take them in the helicopter.
I can take the helicopter. I got the trailer. We came with its own trailer.
Yeah, there you go. And then, you can say you're getting good mileage on it. Listen, thank you very, very much for inviting us into your garage. John, we got to do a part 2.
Oh, we do. We didn't even scratch the surface.
We're definitely.
We haven't got to the second level of the building yet.
Yeah, it goes deep. It goes deep.
I'll tell you what, Vinny. Do me a favor. Like I said, and I know John will take care of it. Johnny, if you can, schedule him for part 2, and we'll continue on with the saga of Vinny Esposito and the many rides that he has.
Cool. Have a good one. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so very, very much for joining us, John. A great interview, sir, and drive safely. And while you're at it, John, you may want to get behind the controls of that helicopter there. It might open up.
I'm going to see if I can take some lessons because I think this would be a neat ride.
It may open up new horizons. Yeah, it may open up new horizons. There you go. All righty, guys, you have a good one. And Mr. Johnny, you have a very safe trip home, John.
Okay. See you on the radio.
You got it. Bye-bye.
The Queen 2 restaurant is now